You know the feeling. You get to the gym, you're ready to hit the weights, but first, you have to warm up. So you do a couple arm swings, maybe a quick stretch here and there, but are you actually getting your body ready to perform, or are you just kind of wasting time? Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We are going to build step by step the perfect science-backed warm-up that you can use for your upper and your lower body days. So let's just ask the big question right up front. Is your warm-up a complete waste of time? Seriously, are you just going through the motions because you feel like you should? Or are you actually preparing your body to perform at its absolute best and, maybe more importantly, stay injury-free? Because the honest truth is, a lot of what you see people doing in the gym, well, it's not really doing much of anything. And this slide really breaks it down. Over on the left, you've got the common mistakes. Things like holding a static stretch for 30 seconds, a minute, which we now know can actually make you weaker for the lift you're about to do. Or, just doing random mobility drills that have nothing to do with your workout. But on the right, that's our target. An effective warm-up does three things, and it does them perfectly. It raises your body temperature, it uses dynamic movements that actually look like your main lifts, and it gets your nervous system fired up for heavy weight. Trust me, the difference is night and day. So why do we even care so much? Why is this so critical? Because the science on this is crystal clear. A proper warm-up has a direct, measurable impact on how strong you are in your workout and how likely you are to get hurt. Let's dig into the two biggest benefits. Okay, so every great warm-up really boils down to two massive benefits. First, and this is the big one for longevity, it's like putting on a suit of armor. It seriously reduces your risk of injury. One huge systematic review found that just getting your body warmer leads to a significant drop in injury rates. And second, and this is the part that gets me really excited for you, it makes you stronger. A warmer muscle is a more powerful muscle. That means you can literally lift more weight right then and there, in that session. It's really that simple. Look, if you forget everything else I say today, please remember this one thing. The single most crucial part of an effective warm-up is actually literally warming up. Getting your core body temperature up is the absolute foundation. You can do all the fancy drills in the world, but if your muscles are cold, you're missing the entire point. This right here, this is the key. So, how do we actually put this into practice? Easy. We're going to use a simple three-phase system. And phase one is what we call the general warm-up. Its one and only job is to get your blood pumping and to start raising that core body temperature we just talked about. And this could not be more straightforward. First, just hop on any cardio machine you like. An incline treadmill, a bike, the elliptical, whatever. It doesn't matter. Second, you're not trying to kill yourself here. The sweet spot, according to research, is a heart rate of about 100 to 120 beats per minute. But you know what's an even easier way to measure it? Just go until you start to break a light sweat. That's the signal. And third, this should only take 5, maybe 10 minutes max. Remember, this isn't your cardio workout for the day. It's just about getting the engine started. Once you feel that little bit of sweat, you're done. Phase one is complete. All right, so you're warm, blood's flowing. Now we move on to phase two, specific mobility. This is where we start getting ready for the actual workout you're about to do. We're going to prep the exact muscles and joints that are about to do all the work. So, let's start with a classic example, a lower body day. We're talking squats, deadlifts, lunges. You need your hips, your knees, and your ankles to be firing on all cylinders. Here it is. This is your go-to routine for any lower body day. You'll start with some light bodyweight walking lunges, just to get that movement pattern down, then hold on to something and do about 10 to 12 front-to-back leg swings on each leg to open up those hamstrings. Follow that with 10 to 12 side-to-side swings to get into the hips and adductors, and they'll finish with about 10 to 12 step-throughs, really pausing at the top to feel that stretch in your glutes. The whole thing takes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and your lower body will feel primed and ready to go. Okay, great. Lower body is covered. But what about upper body days? When you're doing all your pressing and pulling movements. Well, the principles are exactly the same, but we're going to swap out the drills to focus on the shoulders, the chest, and the back. And believe it or not, the upper body routine is even quicker. You start with simple arm circles, 10 to 12 each way, going from small circles to big ones. Then arm swings across your chest. Now for the important part. Grab a light resistance band. You're going to do 15 band pull-aparts. This is absolutely critical for shoulder health, especially on bench press days. And you'll finish with 10 to 15 banded external rotations to really wake up that rotator cuff. And that's it. 4 super simple drills to set you up for a powerful and pain-free upper body workout. Okay, we're warm, we're mobile. Now it's time for phase 3. And honestly, this is the final and maybe the most crucial step for building real strength. We're going to prime for power. We're going to use something called the progressive pyramid to basically tell your brain and your nervous system that it's time to get serious and lift something heavy. So what exactly is this progressive pyramid loading? Well, it's a really smart way to do your warm-up sets for your first big lift of the day. You're just going to gradually add weight to the bar. But here's the trick. As the weight goes up, the number of reps you do goes down. The goal here is not to burn yourself out before you even start. No. This is all about rehearsing the movement physically and mentally with heavier and heavier loads. That way, when you finally get to your first real set, the weight doesn't feel like a total shock to the system. It feels manageable. Let's make this super practical with a squat example. Let's say your main workout calls for squats at 330 pounds for sets of 6. Your pyramid would look something like this. You'd start with just the empty bar for, say, 12 reps to really feel the movement. Then you'd throw on 135 pounds and do 5 reps. Easy. Then maybe jump to 225 for 4 reps. Then a heavier single or double at 275 for just 2 reps. You see the pattern, right? The weight goes up, the reps come down. After that last warm-up at 275, you are now completely ready, physically, neurologically, and mentally, to absolutely crush that first working set at 330 pounds. So we've got our 3 phases all laid out. But how do we put this all together and make it fit into real life, especially when we're in a hurry? Let's talk about making this practical, because the best warm-up in the world is the one you'll actually do consistently. Let's be real. Life gets in the way. We don't all have a luxurious 20 or 25 minutes for a warm-up before every single workout. So what do you do when you're short on time, but you still want to get all the benefits we've been talking about? Here are 2 super effective time-saving hacks. First, it's okay to skip the foam rolling. Look, it can feel good, it has its place, but for an effective warm-up, it is not essential. It's the first thing to go. Second, be smarter about your exercise selection. Instead of starting your workout with a heavy barbell squat that needs that long pyramid we just discussed, maybe start with something like a Bulgarian split squat or a heavy lunge. Those exercises don't need nearly as much of a buildup, which means you can get to your hard working sets way faster. And that really brings us to the biggest idea I want you to walk away with. It's time to completely change how you think about your workout. Your session doesn't begin when you unrack your first heavy set. It begins the second your foot hits that treadmill for phase 1. Every single step, getting warm, getting mobile, and priming your body for power, it's all an absolutely essential part of your training. So really, the question isn't, do I have time for a warm-up? The real question is, can I afford not to?